So with this, let's move on to the next question. Okay, let me do one thing. I will give this question as homework. इसको note कर लो. This is an homework question. I'll also give you the answer, and we can either discuss it tomorrow or you can ping me. ठीक है, मैं maybe I will not even give the answer. Take it as a homework, attempt it, and I'll discuss it tomorrow, or you can ping me your answers. Let's solve this one. This is a new topic, tracks and meeting point. इसकी काफी questions आते हैं, and typically I've seen students get confused in such questions. ये क्लियर है ना कि ए राम मतलब ये यहीं पे टू एंड फ्रो मूवमेंट होगी. The question is, how far is Ram from B when he meets Shyam for the second time? Speed of B, the ratio we should know, right? Speed of A to speed of B is what? Because A travels 400 meter and B travels 1000 meter, right? Which means speed has to be in the ratio of 4:10, which is 2:5. This is my inference number 1. Okay. Now see, जब इनकी मीटिंग फर्स्ट हो रही है, राइट? इन द फर्स्ट मीटिंग A travels this much and B travels 1000, राइट? तो यहाँ पे द ओनली कांस्टेंट थिंग दैट आई नो इज कि A प्लस B ने मिला के कितना ट्रैवल किया है इन द फर्स्ट मीटिंग? D. 1400. So I'm basically assuming 1400 to be equals to D. So the point is A and B have traveled a distance of D in their first meeting. अब let's talk about the second meeting. You all should visualize कि second meeting में इन दोनों ने मिला के टोटल डिस्टेंस कितना ट्रैवल किया है. सो सी, यहाँ पे होगा जो यहाँ से बंदा है राम, राइट? राम यहाँ से आके ही विल गो समवेयर लाइक दिस, राइट? एंड बी विल बी हियर. ओके, से इधर आ गया एंड बी इज मूविंग लाइक दिस. बी मस्ट हैव आल्सो कम हियर, राइट? से दे बेसिकली मीट हियर. आई डोंट नो कि ये पॉइंट कहाँ पे होगा. इट कैन बी प्लस माइनस लेफ्ट राइट, कहीं पे भी हो सकता है, राइट? ओके, तो टोटल डिस्टेंस कितना ट्रैवल हो रहा है मीटिंग 2 में? सी, इट इज मूविंग दिस मच डिस्टेंस और इसका जो कॉम्प्लीमेंट है वो दूसरा बंदा मूव कर रहा है. सो इफ यू जस्ट विजुअलाइज, दिस इज नथिंग बट अ कंप्लीट साइकिल ऑफ दिस एंटायर राउंड, व्हिच मींस इट इज अ डिस्टेंस ऑफ 2D. इज एवरीवन एबल टू विजुअलाइज दिस थिंग कि सेकंड मीटिंग में दे विल ट्रैवल अ डिस्टेंस ऑफ 2D? ठीक है, ग्रेट. देन सिमिलरली कैन आई से थर्ड मीटिंग में भी they will be traveling an additional distance of 2D? Meeting 2 to this was meeting 1 to meeting 2. See, यहाँ पे we have figured कि हर मीटिंग में इनको पूरा राउंड लगाना ही पड़ेगा, राइट? रिलेटिव भी देख लो तो मतलब even if you apply the logic of relative speed, relative distance for them to basically catch each other will be this entire thing 2D successively. तो what I am saying is कि if we talk about the 22nd meeting जो पूछा है क्वेश्चन में, वहां पे टोटल डिस्टेंस कितना ट्रैवल हो जाएगा? सो सी, मीटिंग 2 में टोटल डिस्टेंस वाज D plus 2D. मीटिंग थर्ड में टोटल डिस्टेंस वाज D plus 2D into 2. सो मीटिंग 22nd में टोटल डिस्टेंस विल बी D plus 21 into 2D, which is nothing but 43D. Okay, and what is this? D was basically 1400. So total distance is 1400 into 43 is the distance traveled by each of them. अब मुझसे पूछा गया है बी का पूछा है. सॉरी, हाउ फार इज राम फ्रॉम बी है, ठीक है? तो राम वाज माय ए, तो मुझसे राम का पूछा है. सो आई नो डिस्टेंस ट्रैवल्ड बाय ए कितना होगा. अगर टोटल डिस्टेंस ट्रैवल्ड ये है एंड आई नो स्पीड का रेशियो इतना है, ठीक है? सो डिस्टेंस ट्रैवल्ड बाय राम विल बी व्हाट? 2/7. Speed of A is to speed of B is 2:5, which means in the same time distance traveled by A and B will be in the ratio of 2:5, which means total का proportion कितना हो गया A का? It will be 2/7. So now if you just solve this, it basically comes out to be 17200 meter. Okay. अभी क्या करना है? क्वेश्चन में पूछा है कि B से A कितना दूर है. So you just have to remove the multiples of 1400 from here, right? Because 1400 में तो कोई change ही नहीं है. So you just have to keep on removing the multiples of 1400. You know 1400 into 2 is 16800. 16,800 is a multiple of 1400. You will subtract 16,800 from this. It will come out to be what? कितना बचता है? 400 meters. Okay, which means A ने additionally 400 meter यहाँ पे किया है. So this is where they meet for the 22nd time. Question में पूछा है how far is Ram from B? तो B से कितना दूर है ये? 1000 meters is the answer. Again, it may be a new concept for some of you. So take your time, grasp the logic and note it down. It will be a very useful concept. Chalo, next question. And I can see students are dropping off, so please do not share the notes. I don't want anyone who is not really serious about the preparation to get कि यहाँ क्या चल रहा है. So don't share the notes without my permission. Same concept है जो just अभी मैंने सीखा है, उसी पे ये वाला क्वेश्चन बनाया है. बट देखो अभी मैंने कॉन्सेप्ट बताया था, राइट? सो मैंने क्या बोला था कि से दिस इज a plus b and this is a. Okay, so what I said was कि जब इनकी फर्स्ट मीटिंग हो रही है, okay, let's say this entire distance be d. So d is what you have to calculate, right? So I have just told you कि जो फर्स्ट मीटिंग होती है उसमें टोटल डिस्टेंस कितना ट्रैवल होता है? It is
d, yes, and then 2d.
ये d है, तब a कितना ट्रैवल कर रहा है ये मुझे गिवन है, इट इज 70 मीटर, राइट? करेक्ट. देन जब दोनों मिलके d कर रहे हैं तब a कितना ट्रैवल कर रहा है? ये 70 मीटर ट्रैवल कर रहा है. और सेकंड मीटिंग पॉइंट पे कितना हो जाएगा टोटल डिस्टेंस?
d2d.
नहीं, टोटल डिस्टेंस विल बी d plus 2d.
अच्छा, हाँ, टोटल डिस्टेंस इज d plus 2d, yes. क्योंकि
मुझे टोटल डिस्टेंस लेना पड़ेगा. तो सी आई नो कि इसको कैसे बताऊं. ठीक है, जब टोटल डिस्टेंस d था तब a का डिस्टेंस वो 7. सो जब टोटल डिस्टेंस 3d होगा, a का डिस्टेंस कितना होगा? 70 into 3 which is 210 meter. I can use this logic of proportionality.
हाँ, okay, right? Yes.
a मतलब ये जो बंदा यहाँ पे था, राइट? बट a ने एक्चुअली में कितना ट्रैवल किया है? आई नो ये यहाँ पे मिल रहे हैं. सो a ने एक्चुअली में कितना ट्रैवल किया है? d plus 20. So this 210 should be equals to d plus 20, which means d must be what? 190 meter. Everyone, मतलब बहुत ही सिंपल है, राइट? बस थोड़ा सा सोचना है, इक्वेशन अच्छे से बनानी, ग्राफ बहुत ही क्लियरली बनाना है, and you will be able to मतलब really crack such questions. TSD लगता है डिफिकल्ट है, बट आई थिंक वो बहुत ही डूएबल है if you are fairly confident in that. कि अगर a और b मिला के d डिस्टेंस ट्रैवल कर रहे हैं, सी स्पीड ओके, स्पीड ऑफ a is to स्पीड ऑफ b तो एक कांस्टेंट रहेगी, राइट? which means distance traveled by a is to distance traveled by b should also be constant.
Yes, yes.
Which means distance traveled by a upon distance traveled by a plus distance traveled by b should also be constant, which means fraction of distance traveled by a has to be constant, right? So now does it make sense? This is a question from my first workshop of arithmetic that I've taken live. Let's see how many of you remember this. Let's see. ये diagram clear है सबको? Does anyone have any issues with this diagram? What I'm saying is, Sita left A hours later than Geeta, right? Which means, say this is the point where they're actually meeting. This is their meeting one point, okay? So Geeta, if Geeta has traveled for T hours, then Sita must have traveled for T minus 6 hours, right? Because Sita is leaving after 6 hours, okay? And then Sita traveled for 8 hours and Geeta has traveled for 9 hours. ये नीचे given है. ठीक है, and this is one additional information that I have. Okay, so now I'm going to write an expression without explaining it. Everyone pay attention, and I want you guys to explain this to me. Okay. How many of you understood कि ये क्या लिखा है? सीता को यहां से M1 पहुंचने में T-6 hours लगते हैं, ठीक है, and Geeta takes 9 hours to travel the same distance. Okay, which means ratio of their time taken will be equals to the ratio of speed. So can I say कि T-6/9 is the ratio of speed of Sita upon Geeta? अब again I can say the same thing. Ratio of speed of Sita is to Geeta should be time taken by Sita to cover M1B upon time taken by Geeta to cover M1B, right? क्योंकि सेम डिस्टेंस है. So सीता को यहाँ लगते हैं 8 घंटे, गीता को यहाँ लगते हैं T hours. So 8/T is the fraction of speed. It should be same as T-6/9. So यहाँ से if you just solve it, you will get T is equals to 12. दो वैल्यू आएगी, एक T की 12 आएगी, एक -6 आएगी. -6 is not possible, so T will be equals to 12. Okay, which means Geeta takes 12 hours and Sita takes 6 hours. So यहाँ से can I say speed of Sita upon speed of Geeta will be what? बताओ, what should be that ratio? देखो, Sita takes 6 hours and Geeta takes 9 hours. So time taken by Sita upon time taken by Geeta for the same distances 6:9. So time का ratio is 2:3. Time का ratio has to be 3:2. So speed of Sita upon speed of Geeta is 3:2. So I would assume speed of Sita to be 3x and let's say speed of Geeta be 2x because मुझे निकालनी तो speed ही है. And now I would use this information that Sita had traveled 12 km less than Geeta. Okay, which means Geeta ने 12 km ज़्यादा चले. So Geeta का distance is 12 hours के लिए Geeta चली थी and Sita चली थी 6 hours के लिए. So Geeta traveled for 12 hours. Speed of Geeta is 2x. So 2x into 12 minus distance traveled by Sita. Speed of Sita is 3x into time is 6. So this should be equals to 12 kilometers. So यहाँ से if you solve, you will get x is equals to 2, which means speed of faster पूछा है, तो speed of faster is Sita. So Sita की speed has to be 3 into 2, 6 km/h. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So just a concept for everyone to remember. See, whenever such questions happen, we can directly say कि meeting 1 पे दोनों को जो time लग रहा है, which is T-6 into T. T-6 is the time taken by Sita for the first meeting. T is the time taken by Geeta for the first meeting should be equals to जो remaining time है, which is 9 into it. Okay. So this is the main learning from this question. कि this logic always holds true. ये यहीं से derive हो रहा है. Okay, if you just cross multiply, you will basically get this thing. मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ, first meeting के time को multiply कर रहा हूँ and then left out time को I'll multiply and then I'll just equate it. So if this is clear, let me just cover up some concepts related to the same point, not questions. ठीक है. Okay. So see, let's say this was first person. Let's say this was second person. This was A and this was B. Okay. Same चीज हो रही थी कि let's say they have met at this particular point. Say this पे C. यहाँ पे ये मिलते हैं. Okay. Which means the first person say A, he must have traveled for T hours to reach C. The second person say B, he must have also traveled for T hours to reach this. ठीक है. And then remaining distance, this first person travels at T1 hours, and the remaining distance the second person travels at T2 hours. Okay. So now what I'm saying is, see, first meeting के लिए time is same, right? So यहाँ से हमने निकाल लिया था कि distance traveled by A upon distance traveled by B should be equals to speed of A upon speed of B, right? We can write this thing because time taken to travel the distance is same. So if this is true, हम इसको इस तरीके से भी equate कर सकते हैं. कहाँ गया? Yes, this. So this would also imply speed of B और से speed 2, S2 लिख देता हूँ मैं, B को मैं 2 से represent कर रहा हूँ, into T2 is the distance traveled, this one upon S1 T1. Okay. स्पीड का रेशियो जस्ट अ मिनट अपॉन S1 T1। ये मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ, आई एम सेइंग कि डिस्टेंस ट्रेवल्ड S2 T2 अपॉन S1 T1 क्या है ये, दिस इज बेसिकली द डिस्टेंस ट्रेवल्ड बाय A and B respectively in the remaining time। ठीक है, जैसे मेरा आई थिंक यहाँ पे कुछ तो कंफ्यूजन हो रहा है, because I've taken it in terms of variables, hence this is basically causing some confusion. Maybe what I will do is I will just create a question around it so that it becomes more clear rather than giving you direct formulas. इसका derivation में बाद में explain कर दूंगा. I will just create a question, but अभी के लिए in terms of variables it will get slightly confusing. But जो मुझे बताना था वो ये point था कि speed of 1 upon speed of 2 का जो ratio आता है that basically comes out to be under root of T2 by T1. Okay, and वो उसका derivation I will explain tomorrow. And जो actual time होता है that actual time is under root T1 T2. Okay, which means if you are given T1, if you are given T2, then actual time basically, sorry, जो अगर ये T है तो T basically comes out to be under root T1 T2. एक बार तुम लोग भी explain कर दो. I will also create some examples around it, and then we will discuss these formulas tomorrow. Okay. तो अभी के लिए I will move on without wasting time क्योंकि हमारा time थोड़ा कम बचा है अभी. Let's solve this particular question. Because this is a direct application, I think answers are correct. So let me just allow me 1 minute. मैं एक बार ये चीज explain कर ही देता हूँ. So I will just create diagrams again. ठीक है. Okay. Please pay attention. ये थोड़ा सा difficult है for me to explain here, but I think this will be required क्योंकि जो next questions करें वहाँ पे इसका application will be there. So see what I'm saying is यहाँ से A move हो रहा है, यहाँ से B move हो रहा है. Same question है. ठीक है. They basically meet at some point C and they basically meet after time T. ठीक है. So what I'm saying is say distance traveled by A or distance traveled by B. Okay. वो कितना होगा? It has to be S A को मैं S1 कह रहा हूँ. A is my 1. ठीक है. So speed of 1 ये है distance traveled by A, right? This is distance traveled by A and this is distance traveled by B. So is this clear? कि distance traveled by B is S2 into T and distance traveled by A is basically S1 into T. So TT will basically get cancelled and dA upon dB has to be S1 upon S2. Okay. Now similarly मुझे पता है dA क्या है. This is the time taken by the second person T2 at a speed of S2. ठीक है. So dA upon dB को मैं ऐसे भी लिख सकता हूँ. This is nothing but S2 T2 upon S1 T1. How many of you are able to understand कि मैंने क्या किया है? dA upon dB. See dA is this distance. So this is the distance which again B is traveling in the remaining time T2. Okay, so distance is S2 into T2 is dB and S1 into T1 is this distance which is again D1. So मैं dA upon dB को ऐसे भी लिख सकता हूँ which is S2 T2 upon S1 T1 and now I can arrive at a conclusion कि S1 square upon S2 square is T2 upon T1. So S1 upon S2 has to be equals to under root of T2 by T1. This is the first result. Now this is the first equation. तो ये हमारा first important result है. Note it down. Now what I'm saying is कि S2 into T2 is the distance traveled by B. This is nothing but S1 into T because distance same है. Similarly, S1 into T1 is nothing but S2 into T. Now if you just multiply these two equations, you will get T is equals to under root T1 T2. Okay, which means अगर T1 given है, T2 given है, तो तुम T बहुत ही जल्दी निकाल सकते हो. And these two are important results. So if you're not sure on the derivation, ask me right now, but then remember these. ठीक है? So going forward, इतना सब मतलब ये करने की भी need नहीं है. You just have to apply this. So now let's try to apply the same concept in the next question. ये रहा. Very good. Great. So अभी ये it's basically a direct application. T will be under root of 54 into 24, which comes out to be 36 minutes, which means पूछा क्या है, how long did B take? तो B को कितना टाइम लगा? This is 36, so 36 plus 24 is 60 minutes is the answer for this question. It has taken 60 minutes for B to reach from Q to A, from Q to P. Okay. Next, I think अभी हम थोड़ा सा change कर रहे हैं. We are moving into race वाला problem. All you have to do is to make this table. That's it.
So I'm not sure if the method is correct. So anyway, in A and B का 500 meter का race, A beats B by 40 meters. So when A completes 500 meters, B will complete 460
Very good.
Sorry, yeah, 460 meters. Now B beats C by 40 meters in a 1000 meter race. So what I did is I converted A and B to 1000 meter ka race first. So I multiplied A by 2 and B by 2, so that the ratios could be
Okay.
similar. So 1000 and 460 into 2.
Okay, but see, ये जो time तुमको given है, this is given for a 500 meter race, right?
Yeah.
तो चलो ठीक है, मतलब which is also fine. So you're saying कि तुम time को भी double कर दोगी?
Yeah. So time I didn't double. So I did x and x plus 14.6.
ठीक है, which is fine. तो यहाँ पे C कितना है? When B covers 1000 meters, C would cover 960 meters.
Yeah.
Right, which is good. Which means मैं उल्टा कर देता हूँ. जब B 1000 कर रहा है, then C is traveling 960. So when B will travel 1 meter, it will cover 0.96. So this has to be 0.96 into 460.
Yeah.
Which is what? 441.6 meters. Okay. So now let's go back to the original question. It's given कि A beats C by 14.6 meters, right? Which means speed of C कितना हो गया? C is currently at 441.6 meters and A beats C by 14.6 meters. It means speed of C has to be, जितना distance बचा है उसको travel करने में C takes 14.6 seconds. So this is the distance, this is the speed, this is the time taken. So this has to be the speed, right? Because it has already traveled 441.7. ये 500 पे जो बचा हुआ distance है, which is this. So C takes 14.6 seconds to cover it. So this, I think it comes out to be 4 meter per second. तुमको speed of C पता है? यहाँ से you know speed of B is to speed of C का ratio. Okay, this is 1000 upon 960. Speed of C पता है already, so यहाँ से speed of B भी निकल जाएगा. I think it basically comes out to be 4/1/6 or something like that. Check कर लेना. So next question. I will give this as a homework because it uses the same concept. Please note it down and share your answers with me personally along with the working. Screenshot लेके भेज देना. ठीक है? And I'll jump on to the next question. Yeah, it's a good concept. तो ये हम कर लेते हैं. This is dead heat. ठीक है? Let's see. बहुत ही ज्यादा conceptual question and this covers a lot of other questions. मतलब ये एक question समझ गए then it is as good as solving 40-50 questions of similar types. Okay, so let's see. Everyone, in a 1000 meter race, A can give B a lead of 80 meters. Okay, and ये भी सीखो कि मतलब question को जल्दी कैसे करना है. ठीक है. So this is which means जब A यहाँ पे पहुंच रहा है, right? When say यहाँ से start करते हैं race, when A reaches here, say this is 1000 meter, okay? Then B must have reached here, right? This is where B must have reached, which is 920 meters. Okay. Which means जो बचा हुआ distance है, this is 80 meters. Now question में कहता है कि A can give B a lead of 80 meters or 10 seconds, ठीक है? and still end in a dead hit. Dead hit क्या होता है? Anyone wants to explain to others what is a dead hit?
Tie, same time पे
Dead hit का
पहुंचे
मतलब
थे।
कि टाई हो जाना चाहिए। तो अभी क्वेश्चन में कह रहा है कि ए बी को या तो 80 मीटर आगे कर देगा तो भी दोनों यहाँ पे एंडिंग पॉइंट पे साथ में पहुंच जाएंगे, और 10 सेकंड, ठीक है, विच मीन्स ए विल लीव आफ्टर 10 सेकंड्स ऑफ लीविंग बी, विच मीन्स ये जो डेल्टा है 80 मीटर, दिस बी मस्ट हैव ट्रेवल्ड इन 10 सेकंड्स, तभी ये वाला इंफॉर्मेशन इक्विवेलेंट होगा, राइट? क्योंकि क्वेश्चन में गिवन है कि ए बी को 10 सेकंड का लीड दे रहा है, इसका मतलब बी 10 सेकंड में इतना आगे बढ़ गया होगा। तो स्पीड ऑफ बी यहां से बहुत ही क्लियरली मुझे मिल जाती है कि 80 मीटर इज द डिस्टेंस ट्रैवल्ड बाय बी इन 10 सेकंड्स, सो इट्स स्पीड हैज टू बी 8 मीटर पर सेकंड। ओके, अभी पूछा गया है, देखो एक क्वेश्चन में फिर 500 मीटर में चलेगा, फिर ये 800 मीटर में चलेगा, पूछा गया फाइनली व्हाट लीड कैन सी गिव बी इन टर्म्स ऑफ डिस्टेंस, सी बी को कितना लीड दे सकता है। बी का मुझे स्पीड पता है, सो ओनली थिंग दैट आई नीड टू नाउ फाइंड आउट इज टाइम, कि कितना टाइम लगता है, सी को 800 मीटर कंप्लीट करने में कितना टाइम लगेगा एंड बी को 800 मीटर कंप्लीट करने में कितना टाइम लगेगा, दैट इज व्हाट इज नीडेड। ओके, बी का तो बहुत ही क्लियर है, बी का स्पीड इज 8 मीटर पर सेकंड, सो टाइम टेकन बाय बी टू ट्रैवल, ये मैं 800 मीटर की बात कर रहा हूं, टू ट्रैवल 800 मीटर विल बी व्हाट 100 सेकंड्स, ठीक है। अब मुझे निकालना है टाइम टेकन बाय सी, और जितना भी डिफरेंस होगा उतना मैं लीड दे दूंगा बी को। ओके, सो टाइम टेकन बाय सी will be 800 by जो भी इसका स्पीड ऑफ सी होगा। ओके, नाउ हाउ डू आई डू इट? स्पीड ऑफ सी मैं कहां से लाऊंगा? मुझे यहाँ पे पहले ए पता है, सो इनिशियली आई हैव टू फाइंड स्पीड ऑफ ए, वहां से मैं टाइम ऑफ ए निकालूंगा, देन मैं टाइम ऑफ सी निकालूंगा, देन स्पीड ऑफ सी निकालूंगा, एंड देन आई विल मूव ऑन। सो लेट्स स्टार्ट सॉल्विंग द क्वेश्चन, ठीक है। मुझे क्या गिवन है? आई एम गिवन स्पीड ऑफ बी, सो स्पीड ऑफ बी से मैं टाइम ऑफ बी निकाल सकता हूँ। टाइम ऑफ बी टेकन टू ट्रैवल 1000 मीटर विल बी व्हाट 1000 डिवाइडेड बाय 8, which is nothing but 125 meter per second. Okay, if this is 125 meter per second, तो ये बताओ टाइम टेकन बाय ए कितना होगा? Everyone, unmute and speak up.
115.
Everyone, only one student have answered.
515.
A can give B a lead of 10 second. So this will be, A को B से 10 सेकंड कम लगते हैं, 125 minus 10, it is 150 seconds. Sorry, यहाँ पे unit is seconds. So A will take 115 seconds to travel to complete a race of 1000 meter. अभी हम बात कर रहे हैं 500 meters. तो अगर A को 115 seconds लगते हैं for a 1000 meter race, how much time will A take for a 500 meter race? बताओ. Time taken by A for a 500 meter race?
57.5.
57.5.
57.5 seconds. If this is the time taken by A, what will be the time taken by C?
60.
A can give C a start of 2.5 seconds. So time taken by C will be 57.5 plus 2.5, which will be 60 seconds. If this is the time taken by C for a 500 meter race, what will be the time taken by C for a 800 meter race? बताओ.
48 seconds.
96. 96.
500 के लिए 60 लगता है, सिंपली कर लो। 1000 के लिए 120 लगेगा। This is 80% of 120, which is 96 seconds. You have to be very fast on your calculation. So C would take 96 seconds. B is taking 100 seconds, which means B को 4 seconds का head start में दे सकता हूँ. And speed of B is 8 meter per second. So distance का head start has to be 32 meters. A very good question क्योंकि इसमें a lot of concepts are involved. We have done this, and एक दो question मैंने homework करे. Do attempt them tomorrow, and even this question. I think this is perhaps the last question from tracks and meeting point. So if you want to take it as homework, you can take it. If you want to solve it now, we can do it, and then we can stop. So okay, let me try to explain. यहाँ पे क्या given है? A can allow B a start of 20 seconds in a 1000 meter race, and C a start of 160 meter in a 1000 meter race. ठीक है, इसकी तो मुझे need ही नहीं है. Then B can allow C a start of 20 meters race in a 1000 meter, which means अगर A को race complete करने में t seconds लगते हैं, ठीक है. If A takes t t seconds to complete the race. How much time will B take to complete the same race of 1000 meter?
T minus 20.
T minus 20, Samruddhi?
T
T
plus
plus
20.
20. T plus 20.
Pay attention. It will, ये बहुत common गलती है. It will be t plus 20 seconds, right? And if B is taking t plus 20 seconds to finish the race, how much will C take?
T plus 40.
Plus 40.
T plus 40 seconds, because B can allow C a start of 20 seconds. ठीक है? अब तो it's a question of proportionality, right? कि यार 1000 meter की race में A basically gives 20 seconds of head start to B. So if it's the race of 1900 meter, B कितना देगा? What should be that head start? 1000 में अगर 20 seconds है तो 1900 meter की race में कितना होगा? And by 1900 meter, because they have to overtake at 100 meters before the final distance of 2000 meters, right? It's given, which means essentially their race is just 1900 meters. 1000 में 90 लग रहा है तो 1900 में कितना लगेगा? 38 seconds.
38.
B का आंसर is 38. Similarly, C का आंसर कितना होगा? 1000 में it is 40 seconds. So 1900 में कितना होगा? 76 seconds. We have done this. And एक दो question मैंने homework करे. Do attempt them tomorrow. And even this question. I think this is perhaps the last question from tracks and meeting point.